Hi, I'm Dr. Asha Priyanka, your public health dentist, and the topic today is dental manpower in India specifically. In the previous video, we just understood what dental manpower means, what it entails. Now let's see the situation of what exactly it looks like here in India. Now, India is not lacking any dentists. In fact, India has 300 plus dental colleges and produces around 30,000 to 35,000 dentists per year. But still, people don't get dental care easily. Why is this? Because there is a distribution problem, like I mentioned previously. The core problem here is that there are too many dentists in the cities and too few in the rural areas. So the issue is not shortage, it is maldistribution. Now, what does the dentist to population ratio look like here? Let's understand what we asked previously in numbers. WHO says the ideal number ratio is 1 dentist per 7,500 to 10,000 people. Now, India's average is around 1 dentist to 7,500. Looks good, right? But in the urban areas, it's around 1 dentist to 3,000 up to 1 dentist to 5,000 people, which again, it means too many dentists are there. And in the rural areas, it can actually go to a shocking amount of 1 dentist per 50,000 people. So on paper, India might look fine, but in reality, the access is very much unequal. So what's actually happening here because of all this? In the cities, the dentists are facing unemployment and underdeployment. And you know what? The cream layer of dentists just go abroad. I personally remember this very amazing oral surgeon that we had. He was teaching us when I was in undergrad, and he was everyone's idol. He was everyone's favorite. Super talented surgeon. I've been in his OTs as well. With my personal interest, I went, and it's an amazing sight to see. Even the most senior most faculty would take a step back and give him the chance to do a procedure in the best interest of the patient. If there was something that they had a doubt about or some difficult procedure, they wouldn't mind. In an OT, with the patient in mind, they would take a step back. No ego would come forward. They would let this young boy do a complicated procedure because he was so talented at it. But at the end of the day, you know what happened? He wasn't getting the recognition or the money that he deserved, and he chose to go abroad. No fault to him. I will never forget him though. He's one of the reasons I became a dentist, and I chose passion over just doing the job just for the heck of it. Now, this is the situation here in the city. But in the villages, there's a flip side to this. There is no access to care. People depend on camps or on government setups, which don't do much on the treatment front. And a lot of times, the villages, by the time we are able to access them, they come from bare nothings, right? So by the time we access them, we are able to go to them with, say, a camp or anything. They already have so many issues they have the need for advanced care already, that there's a big gap. We don't know how to deal with it. So that's the issue that's happening, that's the scenario in India right now. Now, what about dental auxiliaries in India? Now, this is where India is again weak. Like I had mentioned, dental hygienists and mechanics are recognized under the Dentist Act in 1948. Mind you, these are just dental assistants. They're not formally structured or anything, and they're mostly trained informally, right? Then there is ASHA workers also. They help in awareness, they help in outreach programs through the National Health Mission or National Rural Health Mission. But there's a big gap. There's not enough structured roles for our auxiliaries. So unlike other countries, India doesn't fully use their auxiliaries. Now coming to another important point, that is the education and workforce issue. India produces many dentists. We've seen this, but the government jobs are limited. and the rural absorption is very, very poor. So what does that do? It creates an urban crowding, it creates a lot of job competition, and it also creates migration abroad. I'll tell you my own situation. Over here in Hyderabad, where I reside, there is only one government dental college. And as you know, public health dental seats are very few. All colleges don't have public health dental seats, PG seats. So when we got our, when we were done with our PG, we had the senior residency. Okay, forget about that. Now I was thinking about going into academics, going into teaching. And then I realized the situation, because there's only one college and possibly 5-6 staff in that in my department, a vacancy would only come about once in every 8 years or something. And 5-8 years, when for some reason the person that is there is removed or has moved somewhere, and by then you have these 8-9 years worth of your seniors who have been building their resumes so well and building all their research so well. You have all of these people as your competition for that one seat. So it was impossible. It was impossible to think about academics. Again, I got another chance to go abroad and do PhD in Australia. Then I thought, okay, my personal situation is such that I have to come back. I can't settle abroad. So I wanted to come back because of my family and all that. And when I thought about doing PhD outside and coming back, what are my options? I was faced with, again, so limited options, majorly one being this dental hospital, government dental hospital ka academic position only, which will never get free. So I would also be in that line of seniors who was waiting for a vacancy. And that frustrated me a lot. For some, it's even worse, there's the system of reservations, there's a lot of things that determine the whole distribution issue and all that. So there are a lot of problems regarding the distribution of dentists here in India. And if you want to go abroad, you all know what that's like. You have to study again. You have to repeat a lot of years. The whole technique, everything we learn here is different from over there. Their way of practice is much different from how it is over here. So it's a lot of another bunch of years and a hefty amount of money involved. So it's not always the best option or even an option for a lot of people. So what is to be done now? What is the government going to do? They are trying to release programs like the National Oral Health Policy suggested integrating dentists into PHCs so that more number of jobs are created in the rural areas and people get more access also. And also in the National Rural Health Mission and National Health Mission also, ASHA workers also were made, given training of awareness, of dental awareness also. And in the National Oral Health Policy 2014, they tried to bring dental care into the public health system, integrating into general health. And also we spoke about this, the census and our 5-year plans, they help us identify where this imbalance is all lying in. But all this said and done, implementation is still very slow. Now, we spoke in length about the manpower planning issue that India has. What is it in detail? Let's simplify it for you. First, we have obviously the major problem is the urban and rural divide. 75% population is rural, but most of the dentists are urban. Then there are some policy gaps. There's no strong redistribution. There's there's very weak incentives for dentists to go to rural areas. And then of course there's the private sector dominance. 90% of dentists in India are into private practice. This is expensive and absolutely inaccessible to the poor. So there's a missing system, a whole missing system. There's no strong school dental nurse or therapist system like UK or New Zealand has. So there are many issues here. So what do we need? What is the solution for this? This is where we think like public health dentists. we need better rural incentives. Now, MBBS doctor will be given a choice or a mandate to go and service in a rural area for their residency, right? There's no such thing for dental. We need to do that. Our internship needs to be posted for us in a village nearby our college, and good incentives and money should be given to us, facility should be given to us for that, salary, infrastructure, and we can train the auxiliaries, we can train therapists, hygienists. All of this needs to happen when we are in our internship. And we need integration of oral health into PHC system. It is the first point of contact where people reach out. So a dentist should be available there. That's how we will get to the prevention part of the cases. Then there needs to be more mobile dental clinics, more outreach programs, and more focus on prevention. So just remember this flow. India has many dentists, but they are very unevenly distributed. Cities have an oversupply and villages have a shortage. Auxiliaries here are very underused, and the public health system, it's improving, but it's very slow still. So the solution is redistribution and working on our auxiliaries and making prevention the forefront. Any question from this topic, and if you can conclude with these 3 words as the solution that you would provide, the solution to this problem that India has, which is redistribution of the dentists, more use of auxiliaries, and prevention focus, you are absolutely in the right track for this topic. Okay, so try and answer this. If India has enough dentists, why do rural areas still lack care? We just spoke about this. Next question, what is the biggest problem? Shortage or distribution? Because you heard the topic now, it might sound stupid, it might sound silly, but try and answer this next week and tell me you're not confused. Now let's look at an MCQ and a flashcard that can come from this topic. Which of the following correctly describes dental manpower distribution in India? A. Equal distribution in rural and urban areas. B. More dentists in rural areas. More dentists in urban areas with rural shortage. And equal shortage in both areas. This is pretty straightforward question. Answer is C. More dentists in urban areas with rural shortage. Workers doing basic dental tasks. ASHA workers. Okay, so this is about manpower and its problem, its situation in India, and also the solution. If you have anything to add, let's see what interesting solutions can you guys come up with. You know the reality in India, the corruption, everything, the policy level, what the situation is like in politics and in healthcare in general. So with keeping all of that in mind, I don't want idealistic solutions. Give me some realistic solutions pertaining to the situation in India. How would you solve this problem if you were given the chance to make a policy or to solve a problem, a dental health problem? How would you do that? Which problem would you focus on? Let's have a conversation about this. I would really, really like more people, more dentists to be involved in this kind of policy level thinking and bigger picture thinking. At this point, my existence would feel great about it. So that's it for today's topic. I'll see you in the next topic.